Welcome to another episode of ForFamilies Podcast. This is where we have conversations on children, on parents, for families. My name is Isabella. I'm super excited. I know I say it all the time, but truly for me, hosting is also a time of learning, relearning, and unlearning. So as you're enjoying it, trust me, I'm also enjoying it. I'm also taking down my notes mentally and reflecting. I'm really looking forward to today's episode, and that's because this is something that I feel like everybody can relate to. When you think about balancing as a parent, an entrepreneur, a 9-to-5er, right now we wear so many hats. Whether we're children to our own parents, we're parents to our children, we're caregivers, we're aunties, we're uncles. At the same time, we might be holding down a 9-to-5. We might have a side business. We might be volunteering in our church, in our mosque. We have hobbies. We're active on social media. Some of us are hosting on radio, on TV. So it gets a lot. And how do you really balance it? How do you stay present? Is it quantity over quality? How do you escape the guilt? Like, I know I should be doing this more, I should be doing this less, and I want to be fulfilled as a person, but at the same time I have this responsibility to provide care and comfort and guidance to my children or the children in my care. So that idea of balance, I know it's a question that women get more often than men. Correct me if I'm wrong, but most times it's woman, how do you balance your home with your work, with this, with that? I don't know how many men are asked this question, because I think people just think, oh, women were multitaskers. So today's conversation, I think we can all learn from it, man or woman, child or parent, and that's why I'm excited, because trust me, I'm going to be taking down some points, because girl needs some help, because sometimes it gets overwhelming. But when you share stories and you hear from other people, you don't feel so alone. So let's get right into the conversation. My guest is the epitome of beauty and brains. Like, really, she needs no introduction, but you know how we do it on ForFamilies Podcast. We have to dish it hot. So my guest is the founder of Boobid Africa. She's a mother of 2 and looking good. She's a fashionista. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's an innovation strategist. Call her Madam President, because she is Madam President to many of us. That's how her name is saved on my phone. And she's someone that is also on television, having engaging conversations. She's a host, she's a personality, she's larger than life, if you ask me, because someone that calls herself Madam President, trust me, like, beauty, brains, and brawn. Yes, that's the word. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My guest is none other than Zumah Yahaya. Welcome.
Isabella.
Please, camera, just look at her now. No, when I say that beauty, I mean, look at the henna is popping. Look at the skirt. Look at the combination, the nails. Please do the nails. Yes.
Wow.
So, did I mention she's also a Luxis like me?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes. So,
Luxis, like, thank you very much for having me, Isabella. I find your excitement exciting. Like, I'm so looking forward to be here and having engaging conversations with you.
I mean, you're usually on the other side, right? You're asking the questions. You're the one steering the conversation.
Driving the conversations and getting everybody to talk. I'm delighted to be here.
Yay.
And I love what you're wearing, by the way.
Thank you. Me too. I was just going to say that we're both repping Titi Bello. So this top is from Titi Bello, which is one of my favorite women's wear designers.
My skirt is from Titi Bello also. Yeah. As always, I'm a Titi Bello babe.
Yeah, so made in Nigeria. Buy
buy Nigerian to grow the naira. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So today's conversation, when I saw your name, Madam President, because we're actually meeting for the first time in person, but that's how social media is these days. You feel like you know someone because you've met them online. And I just saw Madam President, like, wow, like the balls to call yourself Madam and then President in a country that has never produced a female Madam President.
Okay, don't mind me. I just have a very high sense of self. But again, Is there anything above the president?
None.
So nice to meet my Madam President.
I love it. I love it. If you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Madam
you have
President.
to own your space.
So, Madam President, like, I want us to go through your journey before you became a parent. Sometimes people like, 9 to 5, I want to do 9 to 5. Then they have kids, they go into entrepreneurship. Some people know right from day one, I'm not going to work for anybody. So maybe they were selling things as children. Like, how did you get involved in entrepreneurship, and where are you now?
For me, getting involved in entrepreneurship was kind of like in it. I love solving problems, and I love making money while solving problems. How did I get involved in entrepreneurship? My first entrepreneurial experience was when I was a child, maybe like, I can't remember the age when I was in primary school. I come from a very large family, and sometimes biscuits run out now. And then we'll now start going out to buy biscuits. I'm like, okay, you people have money to buy biscuits. Just started buying biscuits in dozens. Biscuits run out in the house. Your favorite biscuit seller is here.
Wow.
And I just kind of like started selling biscuits to my siblings, and eventually other snacks came into play. And after that, I got to secondary school. I was selling greeting cards, but it's probably random val cards, all those knickknacks that students need. It was illegal, but then again, we do what we have to.
I used to buy those things, especially Christmas cards.
But I was doing what I had to do. And then from there, I moved on to selling shoes and bags in uni. And then at the point, I set up a payphone. That time when, was it MTN? The telecoms just came, the mobile phones just came. Yes. People go to business centers to make calls, to buy recharge cards. Before we started being able to load, I did that. I set that up. I had someone managing it for a bit. Then I went to school and discovered that they had spent all my money, like they have run down the business I was leaving. So what I'm saying is, at every point in time, I've always had one form of business or the other that I am involved in, and that still applies till date.
When you were explaining in the beginning, you said, you like making impact and making money, or solving problems and making
making money.
And every time as I was listening, I'm hearing, okay, she's solving the problem of ease, of access, of getting supply right there and there. Because I was in boarding school and I used to buy things from people like you. So I'm sure if I was in your school, I'd be one of your customers. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, some people think, this is something that I did on the side. This is something that I did in school. And then you become a parent and you're thinking, oh my, OMG, I have kids, I have responsibilities. What if this business doesn't work? Let me go and get 9 to 5, or let me still stay with this entrepreneurship. And sometimes women find themselves in that space, especially when they go through pregnancy and motherhood.
Okay, I would like to clarify that entrepreneurship was not something I did to get by while in school. It was something I just wanted to do. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, my parents were fully responsible for me. But you want to do certain things as a babe now. And you need to have your own money. So before they start saying, I want to go to this rave, I need you to pay me, they'll tell you, no, why are you going for the rave? But if you have your own money, like, I'm going for this rave, I don't need you to buy me a dress, but can the driver drop me off? So that way you have a certain level of ownership and responsibility for your own personal life. I don't see entrepreneurship as what people do to get by. I started my career after uni. I started my career in banking. And when I was about to start a family, I left bank because banking was a high pressure job. I left banking to start a family. I took a 5 years break.
Wow.
From 9 to 5 work. And in that moment, I started a business. I started multiple businesses, actually. I started a real estate consulting business. And I also started a fashion line, which I ran for about 10 years before I kind of like did a hands-off on it. So I could understand the peculiar challenges of 9 to 5 in the olden days, because it has changed now. There is more flexibility now. Peculiar challenges of 9 to 5 might make it quite difficult for a parent who wants to be very involved in parenting to navigate at the same time.
Yeah, and I find that some of these women who are pushed to leave their 9 to 5 is because there are not enough support systems in place to ensure that women are able to come back to the workplace. Do you feel that if you were supported, for example, maybe there are things that structures in place or programs for mothers, nursing mothers, for example, closing early, bringing your child to work, that perhaps you wouldn't have gone to entrepreneurship?
So I would also like to clarify that I left banking to start a family, right? Not because there wasn't adequate support, but because I wanted that for myself. I don't know if that makes sense. I was with Oceanic Bank then, and Oceanic Bank was one of the most, what's the word? We experienced peace in Oceanic Bank. I mean, you are allowed to bring after your 3 months leave, you can bring your child to work.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a female MD, and she was quite progressive then. So it wasn't about that, but I also needed to move out of it, move to another city.
Oh.
And the options I was seeing, job-wise, were not very attractive. And then again, I was young. Let me just enjoy my pregnancy and just kind of like have a pretty much laid back. And then I was also pursuing my second degree. So I had so many things I was juggling at that point. It just didn't make sense, economic and social sense, for me to be keeping a 9 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're a parent, you're an entrepreneur, and you have your hands in different things. Like, just listening to your journey, I don't even see how that is going to change, because you're all about solving problems and making that money. So now how do you balance it? Like, how do you ensure that you're still very present for your children, but you're still also fulfilling the dreams you have and pursuing passions? You mentioned a second degree. So someone like that is that what's the word, when you're very ambitious? Yes, ambitious. I don't think that ever stops. So how are you able to balance it?
I love parenting, and I'm very intentional about parent. Like, a large part of my identity is being a mother, and I'm very, very intentional about parenting. When I say it took 5 years of structured work to start a family, it's because I have a very clear idea of the kind of child I want. And I know it's not something I can particularly outsource to somebody else. And I know the foundation is what determines what the output is going to be like. So back to your question of balancing life and
parenting,
work.
yes.
Life for me is parenting.
Yes.
Right? And work is the other part we're trying to balance. Again, my identity is a parent. My children come first at every point in time. And you need to understand that there are always trade-offs at every point in time. No one has it all. But the balance is in you showing up where it matters most at every point in time. When I started traveling for work, the first time I had a baby then. Whenever I travel, I'm gone. The baby I was raising then was not even my biological, but my mom passed on while she was having her. So she's been with me since she was like 48 hours old. So wow. She is my baby. So whenever I travel, she was like 6 months then. So whenever I travel for work, I travel today. By the second, third day, she starts falling ill. And every time she falls ill, I start flying back. And there was a day my mom was like, how long do you want to keep doing this? Are you the doctor who is going to take care of her? No. You don't trust us enough to take care of your child for you? And then I'm like, okay. Is there anything you're doing when you're here? I was like, are you playing where you're at? No. Just like, let mommy girls go. Focus on what it is you need to do. If there is a need for you to come, we will let you know. And that kind of like, give me a sense of ease. Like, I'm doing the best I can. A lot of parents, when they go to work, it's not even for themselves. It's so they can provide a better life for their children. I'm doing this because of the children, because I need them to see an example of what is possible for them as an individual, and also be able to say, my parents was able to do this, and also provide a better life for them. So if there is a support system that can provide adequate support for you in your parenting journey, there's no point guilt tripping yourself. What you just need to do is show up when it is required. There are certain things I'm not going to miss when it comes to my children. And my children know that, like, when they go parents involvement week, all those things, like, no, our mommy is not going to come. She doesn't have the time. But the things that are important to me, there's things like, oh, mommy will come. So over time, you need to identify what is important to you as an individual and the things that are important to your children. So my children will tell you, Mama, you have to be around for this. Okay. There are certain things they wouldn't even tell me. I'm like, oh, this happened in your school. Oh, yeah, we don't need you to come. We are fine.
So this communication, has it always been this transparent, this open, this honest, where you and your children are almost negotiating, like this one come or this one no, you cannot miss it? Or
A large part of my parenting journey focuses on transparency and sharing my truth with them. My kids, they have a front row seat to my life. Everything I'm doing, they know what I'm doing and they know why I'm doing it. Of course, they are young. They probably don't understand it as much as they should, but on overview, they have an overview, and they know that I love them very much, and we try to communicate at every junction, saying, so yes, it's always been a thing. When people talk about there's certain things you don't discuss with kids, I don't believe that. I discuss pretty much everything with my kids in an age-appropriate manner, because we underestimate their level of intelligence and comprehension. But the reality is they have these questions in their head. And if you are not providing them answers, they will seek answers elsewhere. So it's important for you as a parent to always be the loudest voice in your child's head.
It just ties into what you said about being intentional, like this intentional parenting, that identifying what's important. How have you been able to identify those things that are non-negotiables, the things that, the times, like you said, where you can leave the house and get the support system to take over?
Identify them. It's always a situation analysis issue. Okay, so graduation. My first is an SS3 is graduating. My second,
SS3, wait. Camera, please. Did you hear that? SS3 as in, the mother of almost university students.
University children.
Hey,
yeah, that's right.
Mama, Madam President.
And my daughter is in JSS3. She is graduating also. So I've been hounding the school that graduation dates. I heard you guys are changing it. I need to know because I need to mark my calendar. That is definitely a non-negotiable. PTA meeting, I can join online. It's a negotiable. Birthdays, sometimes negotiable. But because my kids are like 10 days apart, their birthdays are like 9 days apart, actually. So I'm always unavailable for both due to work commitments. So we try to negotiate. So which birthday are we doing this week? That is a negotiable. So we just choose the dates we are celebrating and then we do it. And then everybody share what they want for their birthday. So we do this like a month before. So everybody can plan towards it. I don't live in the same city with my children most of the time. So what we do is I'm coming around, I'm spending 2 weeks. I need to know the list of the things you want to do. You want us to do as a family and the things you want to do by yourself with me, And so there's already a schedule of the things we'll be doing. Everybody would already allocated dates and time for it. There is no ambiguity. So they know they are loved. They know they are cared for. They know their parents will show up for them when they need them to. And because we spend a lot of time apart, we get to talk. Like we have scheduled group call every Sunday morning at 10 a.m., where we just get to catch up on what's been happening all through the week. And then if there's any particular thing to address, we address the issues as they come. So, and then when I'm around, we do family time. Family time is from 6 to 7, where we either play a game or we just gist. So you need to just share what's the interesting thing that's been happening in our lives, what's been happening at school, what's been happening at work. I share pictures of the thing I've been up to at work, like, oh, Mama, you did this. Oh, I like your dress. We just kind of like catch up. I tell people that my kids are like my Brooke best friends. We do a lot of physical bonding.
Broke best friends
Broke
because
best friends,
they are not spending
they
any.
don't have
They are
shishi.
chopping
They
your
don't
money.
have shishi.
but I love it because sometimes we think that it's about the quantity instead of the quality. And just listening to you, it's about prioritizing what is important. Yes, that intentionality.
A lot of parents live with their children, but they are not present parents. They don't talk to their children. They don't do stuff with their children. And they don't know their children. So when people say, oh, I called you, you didn't pick. I'm not going to pick his family time. Recently, over the holidays, I was with the kids who were playing, what's his name? Undercover, one random game like that. And then my phone rang, and then my daughter was like, pick it and tell the person you're playing with your children. And I'm like, hi, I can't talk to you now. Because she was using my phone to play the game, but it's like a group game. I can't talk to you now. I'm playing games with my children. And then I put the phone away, and it was, so they know within those hours, I am fully jazzed. And one thing I try to do is I try to do family meals. We don't eat, well, I still eat in the rooms, but they don't eat in the rooms. They have to eat at the table. You're not even going to eat in the living area. You eat at the dining table. And most of the time I try to show up if I don't have other work commitment, and then we eat together and then we talk. If you're raising teenagers, it's always important to have conversations. And someone shared a research recently that said teenagers, they don't talk when you're trying to have a conversation with them. They talk when they feel safe. And they don't talk when you're looking at them directly. They need to be doing other things, or you need to be doing other things for them to engage you. When my daughter wants to make a request, she'll make sure I'm in the bathroom. I mean, I noticed the trend.
That you're distracted.
I'm distracted. And then the fact that I'm distracted at the point where I can't particularly say no because I just want her to get out of my sight. Mama, can I? Baby, I am in the bathroom. Can we have to go? No, I was just thinking, okay, just go. Yes, you can. You are more likely to have a yes when you're in that position than when I'm, okay, so sit down. What did you say you wanted again? Now I can fully process it. So they interrogate them. But in the bathroom, nobody's interrogating anybody. Yes. Please just go. Let me just rest. So it's always important to have one-on-one conversations. Sometimes I just take a drive with one of them. I'll just talk about, that's when they'll start asking questions about their ancestors, about the neighborhood, about this, about that. They have a lot of questions. And the more you engage them one-on-one, the more you're able to get to know where their head is at and the things they have been exposed to. And then you will get to guide and shape their head. Being physically present does not mean you are being a present parent. Being a present parent requires intentionality and one-on-one interactions.
So I hear you, and I'm sure there are parents thinking like, okay, what has helped you? Like, is it the scheduling? Is it the conversation? Is it the support system? Because you make it sound so easy. Like, I'm sure some people are like, wow, your teenagers are saying all these things to you. You're having one-on-one conversations. You're driving, all of that. And they're just trying to get through to their children. So what resources are available for parents who are stuck or don't even know where to start from?
So when I think about my greatest achievement, I think about my children. And I will say it's God. I know we try to look at frameworks and all of that. I think I just got really lucky. I think when I think about my best gift from God, I think they're my children. And I'm not going to discount my intentionality. Like I said, I took 5 years of my life dedicated to them. I dropped them off at school in the morning. I pick them up at 3 o'clock. From 3 till they go to bed, I am not doing anything apart from them. But I also have a schedule. So the schedule allows me to do all the things. I mean, they eat dinner by 6, they take their shower by 7, they are in bed. So I still have like 4 more hours to do other things. And that is intentionality. Intentionality starts from the day you have the child. So you need to decide the kind of child you want. And also try to figure out the resources you need towards getting you the kind of child. And, start working on it bit by bit. It doesn't mean you're going to have the kind of child you want, but you have put yourself in a situation where you have a higher chance of having the kind of child you want. And it's always important to emulate the kind of person you want your child to be. Whatever it is you tell your child, if you're not emulating it, because children learn by saying, they copy whatever it is you do. You're just talking. You're telling your child, we don't lie in this house. Or I don't want you to lie, but you lie to them. So you're telling them it's okay to lie. It's, as far as you're an adult, it's just okay for you not to get caught. But if irrespective of the situation or how bad it is, you are always sincere with your kids, they will internalize the fact that honesty and sincerity is an important value in this house. So whatever kind of attitude you want to see in your child, you need to ensure that, when people say, oh, why are you well-behaved on the internet? Like, I have to be well-behaved. My kids are of the internet age. They are not on social media, but their friends are, and send them my content. So the things I don't want them to do, I'm not going to do it.
It's about do as I do, not do as I say. Is modeling that behavior.
Yeah.
And I think just listening to you, I get that sense that you take your role as a parent like a precious egg. You know, the Igbos will say snake egg, because you come near a snake, they will just, I mean, it's almost like it's very sacred to you, and you can see the intentionality come through. Now, in self-actualization, like you're doing all of this for your kids, you're ensuring you have one-on-one time, the times when you're not physically present and you're doing things for yourself, how do you deal with that? Oh, there's a mother that is always doing PTA. There's a mother that is always there. There's a mother that doesn't miss her child's birthday, because, peer pressure is real. It doesn't just happen in secondary school. Mommies used to pressure other mommies. Daddies used to pressure other daddies. Mom guilt is real. And even the pressure we put on ourselves, like, I can be doing so much more for my child. Oh, I can be doing this. Like, how do you deal with that dilemma?
So I'd like to start from where you started from, regarding that I take parenting seriously. I'm a Muslim woman, right? And children are considered a manna, which is like a trust from God. So your job as a parent is to mold them guide them to be the best they can be. And if something is kept in your trust, the kind of person you are shows in how you handle the trust, the things that are kept with you. So yes, it's a very important part of my life. Like, I'm very intentional. So going on to how I handle mom guilt. I'm sorry I stopped processing mom guilt. I stopped. So do you remember my mom had that conversation with me, like, are you doing the best you can? Yes. Are you clear about your purpose? Yes. Then let it be. So you need to let mom guilt go as far as you're true to yourself, true to your purpose. You can't pour from an empty cup. And if you're not fulfilled by yourself as an individual, you can't particularly raise well-rounded children. I don't want to sound like a feminist, but again, it is what it is. As a woman, we owe ourselves the duty of exemplifying that, of what is possible to our daughters. You need to let them know that it's okay to aspire for it all. And having it all is achievable. But what having it all means is you will need to let something go for the other at different points in time. But you don't have to drop the ball at all the point. I took 5 years of work, right? It had an impact on my career because my peers wouldn't take anything. I could see the progression they had, But then what I have, they also don't have it. I go back to the workforce and I started doing my thing, and now we are complementary peers. They have their own family now also. So at different point in time, and they are also taking breaks. But as women also, we have to be realistic about how much of our time and the kind of breaks pregnancy and childbirth take on our career. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So even if you're actively working, you're taking maternity leave while you're working, right? Your male colleague will be considered for promotion in your maternity year. You are not going to be considered. So irrespective of how you look at it, there will always be trade-offs. But the most important thing is for you to ask at every situation, what is the most important thing to me right now? And what is the most important thing for me to do right now? And then make the decision based on each situation.
So true. Like, what does success mean to me at this time? Because it can change.
It can change. At every point in time, you need to ask yourself, what does success look like to me? And aggressively pursue it.
Yes.
And nobody can define that for you. You need to make your decisions, align with your stakeholders. Stakeholders in this case means your husband, your partner, your parents, or whoever is actively involved in your life, and request for the support you need, because it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to be a well-rounded human being.
Yes. And how do you receive support for someone that has been very hands-on? Because I can imagine your mom having that conversation with you. Was it an immediate switch, or did it take time to say, okay, she's not doing well, okay, I'm going to continue. I won't fly back the next day. I will do 3 days instead of doing 2 days. I will do 5 days instead of 4 days. Because I feel like there's some parents out there, some women out there that are like, okay, yeah, I can't leave my child with my husband because you go and put mentholatum where he's not supposed to, or he will go and forget to take her out, or he will, there are real fears. And sometimes you want to accept that help, but you're not 100% sure that it's adequate.
Okay, I would like to say, if you're an unmarried woman, please try and avoid men who can take care of themselves. Like, avoid them. Because you need to be able to take care of yourself before you can take care of somebody else. But if you're already married and you're married to someone like that, you need to understand that if you die, life will continue. The child will survive. So we do what we have to do. You're lucky if you have a partner who is interested in providing support and learning. But also you need to be mindful of the fact that your husband loves your child as much as you do. It doesn't want to intentionally hurt the child. So you need to stop sweating the small stuff and focus on the big things. You need to provide support and guidance to him on how to take care of his own child. It's not a flex saying, oh, my wife cannot leave the kids with me. It's the height of irresponsibility. It means she does not trust you. And then why are you making a baby with someone you don't trust to take care of the baby? Anybody can die at any time. So it's very important to be intentional about what we choose as our partners. And even when we choose someone who can step up when we need them to, we should provide support for them and not nag them into it. Say your husband does not know how to when to change the diaper, when to feed the baby. Put a schedule on, set alarm on his phone. You check this diaper every 2 hours. If the baby is crying, there are 2 things, right? Is that hungry, thirsty, or sold? So not hungry. To check for hungry, when was the last time the baby ate? How many ounces of milk did he have? We have checked off hungry. Thirsty, did he drink water when he hurt? When was the last time he woke up? Because sometimes they just want to sleep, And then you check the diaper. If you ever eliminated all 4, most likely baby will just want to exercise its lungs. Let the baby cry. So you need to provide support, but we can do it with clear guidelines. Men understand, they understand direct communication. But if you're being passive-aggressive about it and you're killing yourself over the fact that, oh no, you can't take care of them. If you don't let him try, how will he learn to take care of them? So just hands off. Sometimes you can even just do, oh darling, you'll be the one minding the children today. I need a mommy day off. If he likes, you turn them upside down. They are his children. He's not trying to hurt them. And he's also emotionally intelligent enough to know when to stop. And men and women process parenting the different way. And the reality is a child needs both. So don't deprive your father with the joys and pains of parenting because you're trying to protect the child or protect him. But most of the time, we believe you're trying to protect the child, or in reality, we are trying to protect our significance. A lot of women can't deal with the fact that my child can survive without me. I was telling someone, why is your child still at home at 2.5 years old? Then she was like, oh, so she'll start school and she'll forget about me. I'm like, she's going to start school, max. So if in the next 6 months, your child is still not in school, you're going to come across as an irresponsible parent. Because the child needs socialization with people their age, and they also need to start learning, which you cannot provide. So again, stop over whatever your importance. Remember, you are just a vessel and a guide. You don't own this child.
A vessel and a guide. Wow, that's you said a lot, and I'm just thinking, that there are some mothers that are still holding on so hard because that fear is real. Even when they have a nanny living, they are afraid when the child gets close to the nanny. When the child goes to school, they are afraid when the child comes to talk about the teacher. And it's almost like we must hold those children there. What message do you have for them to just, your child is your child. Your child is not running away.
You need to let the insecurity go. is it work you do in the early years. My children choose their nanny. Like when we are interviewing people for nanny, I would let them do a week with us before we make a final decision. And the children get to choose. I'm always happy for them to choose the ones they like the most. I even want them to get close with the nanny because it's easier for me. Because imagine I have a nanny, they don't even want to talk to the nanny. The aim of the nanny is defeated. I don't just want someone to do chores or, get them ready and do all of that. No. I want someone they can connect with, they can respect, and they can learn from. So as a mother, you need to decenter yourself in your child's life. You love them, they're probably your all in all. Actually, your children should not be your all in all. You should have other things outside, your children that you seek fulfillment from. So let them, and the only way you can get the best versions of them is if they are able to form healthy bonds with other people. Let them form bonds with their fathers. Let them form bonds with their grandparents. Let them form bonds with their aunties and uncles. Let them form bonds with their nanny. That's
And you don't think like, but this nanny they will now see the nanny as a mother figure.
I'm sorry to say my children cannot see anybody as a mother figure because the way I treat them, nobody can. The kind of affection and attention, the kind of conversations I have with them, nobody can. My son is quite attached to my mom. Like, my son will randomly wake up and say, I'm going to grandma's house. Okay, but grandma has traveled. Yes, I want to go and chill in her room. I mean, he literally goes to her house to chill in her room because he misses her.
Oh.
I love it. I'm happy because, it means it feels safe enough with somebody else. It means I don't have to pressure myself as much because he is fine. If anything is wrong with him, he's calling his grandma. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't expect my children's lives to revolve around me. I don't even expect to be the most important person in their lives. I have a full, awesome, happy life outside of them. I am comfortable with them having the same thing. And I think every parent should. Whether we like it or not, our children at best are with us maybe for the first 20 years of their lives. After that, they are out into the world. If you are not raising a well-rounded child now, how will they cope? How will you cope? You see a lot of people, the moment their kids are out of the house, they don't know what to do with themselves. And then they will now become this parent who is always calling their children, like, Mommy, we are outside. And at the point it leads to resentment because the child will be like, why are you stifling me? You should be able to breathe and also let your child breathe. Important to find a balance. I always tell women, because it's usually women who fall into this trap of making your child the center of their lives. Have something going on for you outside your children. Because you need to remember, children will go and try and like your partner. Because when the children go, it's you and your partner who will be remaining for one another, so that at least you can have some form of companionship, another sense of purpose. If you're a nurturer, you can also have someone to nurture.
And in finding things that women can do, like perhaps there's a woman that is watching and all she has done is just take care of her children. She's left her job. She's a full-time stay-at-home mom. She's all about her children. What ways can she begin to let go of those reins and also find other things? Because some people, they've forgotten what they even like.
The first thing is self-awareness. You need to realize where you're at and decide where you want to be. You feel like you're stifling your children. It's a mental reconditioning. They need to start letting go in bits, saying, okay, you don't let your children visit your parents. Let them go and visit their grandparents and spend the night. That's the first step. You don't let them go anywhere without you. And they are not going to be tied to your aprons forever. And they need to, I could remember when we were younger, our parents were less involved with us. We had a lot more independence. This new era of helicopter parenting is a recent phenomenon in this part of the world. You need to stop being a helicopter and let your child learn. Let them grow. Let them make mistakes. Let them learn from their mistakes, because that is the only way you build resilience in a child. But if you're where you are and you're trying to get to find yourself, take a trip. Leave the children at home. They are not going to that, but of course, I'm not saying you should leave your baby at home. That would be irresponsible. But even if you need to leave your baby, if you are in the right hands, when I say baby, I'm talking about neonates now.
Yes.
3 months and below, 6 weeks and below. No. But if you have a child that you're not nursing, there is really no point for you. You can take a break. So the first thing is stepping away from the entire situation. It could just be 5 days. It could be a 1 week break. It doesn't have to be outside the country because that sounds pretty privileged. And visit your parents. You can visit friends. Just for you to find who you are outside being a wife and a mother. So that way you get more clarity. You're able to look at your life from a different perspective and also understand, okay, this is me. This is what I like. And then you now find your purpose. Do you want to go back to a 9 to 5? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to volunteer in your church? So there are so many ways. Your purpose does not have to be commercial. But I believe everyone should have something they are doing apart from raising children.
Thank you so much. My final question would just be the biggest lesson you've taken from balancing your life's mission of parenting, but also self-actualization and pursuing the different interests that are in you.
My biggest lesson is there are always trade-offs. There are always trade-offs, and not to beat yourself up over the things you cannot change. A lot of us, and also not to internalize other people's judgment of us. Because that is where a lot of mommy guilt stems from. Or what is this person thinking? I didn't attend PTA. This parent is probably thinking I'm an irresponsible parent. The parent is not thinking about you. Even because they have their own challenges they are dealing with. And even if they are thinking about you, are you true to yourself? Did you ditch your child's PTA because you want to, or because something something significant came up?
Yes.
So you need to always, check yourself, and also, as much as possible, be kind to yourself in the way you address we all have internal voices. Some people have unkind internal voices towards themselves. So you should always tell yourself, okay, babe, you're doing the best you can. If you can be here right now, you would have been, but you can't be. So again, how do you support the PTA? You can you join online? Can you send your input on the school WhatsApp page? There's so many options to contribute. One thing that has made parenting easier for a lot of people is technology. When we were younger, our parents don't have access to us 24/7.
Yes.
Right. So I say I have weekly family catch-up meeting with the kids, right? If 15, 20 years ago, there's no way we would have been able to have that.
Yeah.
But because we have technology, we can do so much more. Like a whole lot more. I play games. The kids downloaded Call of Duty on my phone.
Wow.
Just so I can be playing Call of Duty. I don't want to play Call of Duty. I don't like Call of Duty. I don't even like violence game. But because they enjoy it and it's important to them, I play with them. So you need to not just foster your interest on your child. You need to compromise and also get to enjoy the things they enjoy and just let them be.
Thank you so much, Madam President.
Thank you, Isabella.
AKA Zumah Yahaya. Thank you for dropping those gems of wisdom, and I hope you free yourself. See, there's no award for best mommy of the year.
Suffer head.
Yeah, so all the suffer head and all of that is about, as you said, taking that responsibility with a whole lot of care and attention, but also not losing yourself in it. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
This is the segment where I put you on to what I'm loving now. So in the past, I'll bring out some products, tell you about services, and you're probably wondering, okay, where's the book, or where is the product that I'm bringing out, and you're looking. Well, today's one is a bit different because what I'm loving now is singing songs of my childhood. I know. So I don't know about you, but I grew up in Nigeria. I grew up I was born in the late 80s, so I grew up in the 90s. And that was a time when television starts at, is it 4 o'clock? And then you have the multicolored lines. Gen Z cannot relate. And then the national anthem. But there are some songs of my childhood that have stuck. So sometimes I'm just singing, iyo go go, iyo go, iyo go go. Iyo go go, iyo go, iyo go go. Sometimes it's Batamia ko ka. Batamia ko ka. Timba kawe mi. Batamia ko ka. And I also watched a lot of Disney movies. So think Lion King, Pocahontas, Little Mermaid, and I'm just singing some of those popular theme songs, Circle of Life, and you're just thinking like, wow, I think it's about letting my inner child come out. Like, you children, me too, I was a child before. You think it's only you that can sing and enjoy nursery rhymes. Okay, let me come and sing some of those songs. Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? That's from Pocahontas. And it's good to even see some of these childhood favorites being remade. So we now have Little Mermaid being remade. You have Lion King being remade. Circle of Life. It's the circle of life. Da-da-da-da. And it moves us all. You know, or sometimes it's even singing songs from The Sound of Music. Like that one, I'm getting them to do do, a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, Fa. When I say that Fa, they would gesticulate, my kids, a longer way to run, so a needle pulling thread, La, a note to follow, so tea, I drink with jam and bread. My kids love that. That will bring us back to do, 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 do. And I found myself, playing more songs from The Sound of Music, for example, and just enjoying my childhood. So sometimes let the inner child come out. Sometimes I will sing these nursery rhymes with them. Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. Isabella wants to play, mommy wants to play, or you're singing Piggy on the railway, picking up stones, along came an engine driver. Well, let me leave that part. And it reminds me of easier times. I look back at a nice childhood for the most part of it, and that's what I want for my kids. So if you're looking for what to do with your children, especially if they are young, and even at any age, to be honest, because there's a song for every child, to be honest, I encourage you to go back to those songs, teach them those songs, learn their own songs, sing along with them. And that's what I'm loving now, singing old classics with my kids. And my husband too joins in. One time we even had a guest who came and he brought out the guitar and he was playing. And my son went to go and take the other guitar, like, let me to also be playing. And that was really, really nice. Thank you for always sending your questions in. I really enjoyed this segment where we answer those burning questions. So if you have a question, go ahead, contact us. Details are on the screen and we'll try to answer it here. I try to just share from my experience. Keep it real, no gatekeeping. Now, today's question is something that I've heard other parents ask, and I've also thought about it. Like, how do we raise children who are responsible and do house chores? Like, it's no news that a lot of families have external help, whether you have a live-in nanny, a live-out nanny, you have a cook, you have a driver, you have a housekeeper, you have help, basically. So you can easily fall into that trap where everything is being done for you and your kids. But does that make them independent? Does that make them well-rounded, responsible? So you might be thinking, but my kids are too young. See, my kids are 2 and 3 and 2, and they already know to take their plates to the kitchen. So that's something. They know to set their mats. they know to go. That one, they like it, to take their cup to the dispenser and be pressing it. They know to do that. And I keep asking myself, what are other ways I can engage my children so they are hardworking, they are responsible, there's that sense of independence. So we don't carry their bags for them for the most part. They carry their school bags themselves. My daughter wears her school bag. My son pulls his bag. He also wears his lunchbox. I think for now, we still carry my daughter's lunchbox. But even when she finishes school and we go and pick her up, they will give her the lunchbox to carry and her bag, and she'll carry it for some time before she gives it to us. So that's another way to make them responsible, make them independent. They handle their own things. Sometimes it's very easy to just be like, oh, this place is a mess, and you want maybe the nanny to clear up the toys. But I find myself stopping and saying, no, let's all pack our toys. And one of the nannies was like, oh, there's a song, bend low, 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 pick up all the toys, bend low. And we all bend low and we pick up the toys, and they pick up their toys, they tidy it away. So little things, these are little kids. The older they become, you can introduce. I remember washing my socks using blue. I don't know how many of you use blue, but it's like blue has disappeared. Use blue to wash your socks and your white to be white, to be blue. Washing, even though there's a washing machine, you might decide, okay, you just wash maybe your underwear for the older kids. Another thing I get my kids to do now is to also water the plants. We have like our vegetable path. Another thing I get my kids to do is to also water the plants. We have a vegetable patch. We have flowers. So I get them to pour water in it. So the older they become, you can get them to iron their clothes, to wash the dishes, to spread the clothes out, even if there's a washing machine, to go on errands, to tidy up the house, to clean. It doesn't mean you're turning them to house boy or house girl. No, you're making them responsible. You're making them independent. So nobody's going to use, I can cook, I can clean. Yes, and teach your boys, teach your girls how to cook. That's a life skill. When they're old enough and they have plenty of money, they can pay for a cook. But teach them the basics. Let them know how to cook their food. Let them know how to be responsible for their personal effects. So what has worked for you when you're in terms of teaching your children to be responsible and to do house chores? I'd love to hear from you. I'm still starting. So is there something I should incorporate? Because I see some little children that are already cooking at 3 and 4, and I'm like, hey, how will I let my child also cook? But I know there are like some safe, cutlery. So that's the next thing for me. It's to get them to start cooking, even if it's mixing the mix for pancake or breaking the eggs or helping me with baking. Yeah. So I hope that has answered that question. And if you have questions, keep them coming. Yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming. We're not complaining. Really enjoyed today's episode. I know I say that all the time, but that's because I have the best guests. I mean, we had Madam President. The name alone, you just know that we're going to have some presidential conversation. But I really enjoyed the conversation on how we can balance different aspects of our lives, and also to decenter ourselves in the lives of our children. Sometimes we might think, our children, their lives will revolve all around us. But when you think about it, like our guest said, your child, or your children stay with you for 20 years and then they go on to live their own lives. And that's a short period in the grand scheme of things. So it's important that you're intentional about the quality time you're spending with them and being present. So not having conversations, your mind is somewhere else, you're on the phone, or you're just existing in the same house together. You could be living apart and still have a great relationship with your kids. So I really enjoyed that conversation and how important it is to model what you want. So don't tell your kids do this and you do the opposite. If you want them to tell the truth, then you say the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Model the right behavior. Do as I do, not do as I say. Great conversation. I really loved it. And then we moved on to the part that I love, which got me singing yo go Batamiadu Kokoka, Colors of the Wind, Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata, There's a wonderful phrase, Hakuna Matata, ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. My producer is looking at me like, did we ask you to start singing again? But you get it. What I'm loving now is singing old classics, childhood favorites, reliving some of the songs of the 90s, and even much long ago, years ago, like when you think about Sound of Music and singing that with my kids. And then a burning question on raising responsible kids. Get them involved in house chores. Whatever it is you can get them to do. Go and pick up the remote control. Yes, even though the remote control is there, I know we do that sometimes. Take your plates to the kitchen. Even if you have nannies and you have housekeepers and you have cooks, doesn't mean you can't teach your children to be responsible. God forbid, if anything happens to us and we're not there, we want our kids to be able to take care of themselves. And yeah, it's where we draw the curtain falls on this episode of ForFamilies Podcast. I've enjoyed myself. I hope you have. I hope you've learned, relearned, unlearned. I hope you have been able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And if you're not already following us, kilo shele, what's going on? Please subscribe. Tap the notification bell so that you get notifications, and then follow us across our different social media platforms. And feel free, Ejo, Biko, share our content, because there are families out there that need to know these things we're talking about, that need to see themselves in some of the guests we bring and feel they're not so alone in this whole thing. You know, this is the podcast where we have conversations on parents, on children, for families. My name is Isabella Adediji. Join us again for ForFamilies Podcast.